Cancer, Cancer, welcome to Kiki's Doorway. Let's see what your soulmate wants to know or wants to understand from November 5th to November 7th, 2018. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father. What does Mr. and Miss Cancer soulmate want to understand for November 5th to November 7th, 2018? What do they want to understand? Okay. What actions will Mr. and Miss Cancer's soulmate will be taking mentally, physically? Okay. Masculine Cancers, your soulmate and you have met in a past life as a monk or nun. When it comes to sacred rites, to spiritual practices, to religious principles, you and your soulmate have practiced these so many lifetimes in the past that now in this present lifetime, how do you want to use that energy of what you have learned, whether it be what do you hold true when it comes to spiritual and religious factors? What are the principles that resonate with you that you even physically use in your waking life outside of your world when you get out of your home? How do these principles are seen outside? Your soulmate is understanding that people probably have came to you and them in regards to saying, oh my God, you're such a great listener, or oh my God, how do you have so much patience and understanding, or if I wasn't mistaken, I feel like you're a monk or a nun, or I don't know, you just seem like you have a really strong faith. Like if you ever heard these things said to you, it's because they felt that monk or nun energy. I've held conversations like this before where people will come to me or people will come to people I have known and still know, and they do exude this energy of being a monk or nun. And then the more I be around them, the more I realize, oh, they must have had a past life as being a monk and nun. You know, it's like the Buddha story. He was an emperor, or he came from a really high level place. In a way, he denounced himself to become someone that is understanding the answers or trying to figure out the spiritual quest of who we are as humans. If you were contemplating on this, whether it be masculine cancers, are you concerned about in this life practicing that to a certain extent, or if you're thinking about really going into this, walk in that first. Or every monastery or every religion or spiritual practice has I don't want to say it like this, but like a free trial. Like they won't just, or like if you want to be a nun, they wouldn't just say, oh, now that you're in the monastery, you're a nun. No, I think they give you a couple of months or some room. Like they still teach you the principles, but they work with you to see if this is really your calling, or if you was just supposed to learn from the calling and just use it as a template. I don't know why I'm saying in my mind's eye to say this, but someone needs to hear this. If you're thinking about becoming a monk or nun, any religion, any culture, they have monk and nuns in any religion. any spirituality, they have a monk and nun. If that means you gotta Google, Yahoo it, or go into the monastery, or go into the religion or spiritual practices that you're really in love with, and see if they have a monastery in your neighborhood or in your community or within a perimeter in which you can actually travel, to see if you can test it out, to see, ask questions like, would I have to physically be there to practice it, or can I come from work and learn about monastery or nunnery? We're living in 2018, so now in those time periods when you met your soulmate, maybe y'all could only meet in one location and that was it, or you had to be a particular monastery for you to communicate with your lover or your soulmate. Now you and your soulmate could be monks and nuns, or have the essence of a monk and nun, and be what is the best way to say this? Okay, I just said smoking earlier. I smoke cigarettes sometimes. Yet I just said people see me and people I know as a monk and nun at moments. Then I have to remind them I am human. When they see me smoking a cigarette, they be like, Kiki, what are you doing smoking a cigarette? You know that's not good for you. Yeah, I do know it's not good for me. Biblically, I know it's not good for me. Spiritually, I know it's not good for me. However, I came on this planet to experience human experience. Meaning I can't always walk in the good. I have to walk in the not so good that I might see. Not so good to me might be smoking a lot of cigarettes or overindulging a lot. Now it's like, okay, how can I make that where it fits me, or it shows that I am human? Oh, I could withdraw. Withdrawal is like purging. We've seen the movie Purge. That's brutal, but emotionally, that's what you're going to feel like. Psychologically, that's what you're going to feel like. You're going to feel like you're doing warfare on yourself. But you come out stronger and you come out more aware. So, if you're trying to figure out who you are, masculine Cancers, is it always sacred? Is it always righteous? Maybe, maybe not. That doesn't mean that you cannot go to your source and understanding what it would mean to be a whole human being, and not to blame ourselves for how we physically play out our lives, and then how to love others when they're in search of who they are. Female Cancers, your soulmate is how they met you. You have met them as an authority figure, whether this be where y'all were both lawyers or both judges. Either you are a judge for the community and your soulmate was the judge for international affairs, whether it be where in the community you were the first judicial system. You showed us how to have a moral compass, or you showed us how to know right from wrong, or to know how to hear people out before making a judgment. Let me say it that way. You are the Cancers. You are the crab. Yes, you have a hard shell but soft on the inside. So in order for you to have this hard shell, just like this picture here, you have a hard authority, or people see you as very stern, but not in a way where it scares people. But you make people feel safe, Miss Cancer and your soulmate, when it comes to how you do place judgment on others. Like, people would rather get judged by you than any other sign at the moment, because you bring out the fair, you bring out, and you use your intuition. You see the two coins. You see the two faces. You don't just see one side of the coin. You see the other side, and then you even see the middle of how even the coin is made. This is why people trust your authority and trust your counsel. Female Cancer. This is what your soulmate has within them too, and how y'all have met. You have helped many people get out of tough situations, Miss Cancer. You have helped counsel people that felt like things were corrupted in your lives, and you made it into a cure for them. That's a real powerful ability, that's a real powerful gift to have in one life into this life. How are y'all going to use this? Okay. Masculine energy. How you look at sacred rights and how you look at carrying yourself the way you see fit is by going into the house of Capricorn, which is the mother and father of the Capricorn. So that would make sense. When we put our hands up like this, we're saying a prayer to our mother, to our father, to God, to Goddess, to Source. And we always use our passion, but for you, you're now understanding how that has led to the way you operate your life. Or if you haven't operated your life on these principles in such a long time, now you're going to go back, look at it, revive it, and understand it, and how to use it in your present. How can you use your spiritual principles in your life? For one, you have too much work. And how we can relieve those works or those stress is by getting an apprentice. Every spiritual and religious teaching had an apprentice, had someone to volunteer, had someone that felt the same desire you did but wanted to give more of their time because they had it. So that means getting a personal assistant. Whether that means getting an apprentice, if this is your business, getting an apprentice or getting an intern. Now you can do an intern where you can pay an intern, or you could give an intern stipend, whether that means getting them a gift card if they're into, finding out what they're into and getting a gift card for that. Accepting the help from others. Life is out of balance. So this will explain why you're going back to your principles of prayer. Whether that means looking at the book of Psalms, whether that means looking at the Kabbalah, whether that means looking at the Quran again, whether that means looking at Corinthians, but whatever text, it doesn't matter the religion, because what is said in these books have one key core value, that they love, and that they're giving us illustrations and stories and even lessons to learn from. Doesn't mean that we have to go every word by word of what someone has done in the past, but we can look at what they have done and see how that can be shaped into your life personally. This is what you and your soulmate is thinking about. So stress-related health concerns can be solved, because we don't want you sick, Miss Cancer. We don't want you sick. You have so much cultivation to do, so much people that want to care for you and that you want to care for them, that you want to be healthy. So that means handing off the load to someone else that you trust. Please do that. Female Cancers, your soulmate, including you, are becoming the king of your communication, the king of how you use your intuition, the king of how you will be stepping into your leadership role. Yes, you are an authority figure, or you're about to be in that circle of being an authority figure. How do you want to exude that? How do you want to look? How do you want your followers to view you? You are the sheep, others are your shepherd. How do you want them to follow you? And how original do you want to be when they follow you, so that way your brilliant and impartial professional way of doing things will always look as a diplomatic approach. It will always look like it's coming from a diplomatic and not a domestic or a damaging way. You understand, Miss Cancer? Your soulmate and you are speaking your mind with confidence. So seek out professional advice. Balance mental and emotional considerations, because yes, you are Cancerian. You are a water sign, but you can come on land. So you have both your mental and emotional always next to you. It's now learning how to merge them together. How will we be merging them together? Page and page. Wow, that's good. Both the masculine and the feminine soulmate, including yourselves, are becoming your own messenger of your principles. You're becoming your own messenger of what it means to look like an authority figure, what it means to be seen. Again, Page of Earth is using our five senses. How would you be looked at as an authority figure? How would you be seen as an authority figure? How would you be seeing yourself as an authority figure? How would people be talking about you as an authority figure and what you hear? How would you be tasting authority figure? Would it mean having different foods? Are you changing your diet, or are you changing the way you eat to match what you see in your mind's eye, in your brain, in your mind? How you see it in your mind is actually helping you in the steps that you're going to be physically making. And in using the senses, that the physical body, how do you want to feel it? How do you want to feel it? That's what's going to be on your mind. Same thing with you, masculine energy. How do you want to communicate your passion of your spirituality and your how you see things as sacred? How do you want to connect to other people's soul through your passion? How are you going to be outgoing in that approach physically by showing your passion? Because Page of Fire is about physical action, meaning I ain't going to just talk about it, I'm going to do it. So if I love, for example, singing, but smoking is my issue, then how would I be that spokesperson in explaining these things? Like, oh, my outgoing nature would be finding things to occupy my energy so I won't smoke today. Whether that means singing more, whether that means writing, whether that means songwriting, whether that means doing jumping jacks or doing some exercise later on today to break that habit, or to look at that habit as a way to heal me. It's not a habit, it's trying to heal me, and it's trying to have me relook at how I look at myself. I wanted to give you that as an example. I felt the need to. Masculine Cancers, your soulmate, including you, yes, if you got to be mischievous, just like I did, if I got to tell you a little bit of who I am outside of reading, so be it. This is what makes people come to you as a healer, as a monk and nun, because it's nothing better than to come to someone that has lived that life and see that imperfect is perfect in the eyes of irony. That is a quote that I made when I was, 14, 15 years old. I think, 14, 15. No, 15, 16, I think. I was, middle school, but I went and did college credits at Bronx Community College. I wanted to keep learning. So you would think as a teenager, I would just do what teenagers do, which is go out to the park, have fun, especially for the summer. I was like, nah, I can do that next summer. You know what I want to do? I want to learn some more. So I picked Bronx Community College. I was like 14, 15. All these people were college kids. I'm like literally the youngest there. And they looking at me like I lost my mind. And then my teacher, my professor at that time, his name had to be Dr. Apple. I said, ain't this so? You Dr. Apple, huh? So what, you going to get mad when I eat that fruit? It's funny because he used to clown on me because I was the youngest, and I was always hiding the back because I didn't want to show what I learned and what I consider as sacred to me. So he kept pushing me to the point where I had to show that I'm passionate about learning. I'm passionate about teaching people. Even though I didn't see myself as a teacher then, I was still helping people and teaching them. Now imagine college kids coming to me to learn chemistry and physics. And I love it. But that was an example to show how are you going to break out of misperceptions of what does it look like to be a monk and a nun? How does it look like to be that in 2018? How does it look like? Because you and your soulmate is really diving deep on that, and news for you and your soulmate is going to have exciting new endeavor. That might mean, how would you be practicing out what it looked like to be a monk and a nun in your version, in your way? And everybody has a different way. Buddha had a different way than Jesus. Jesus had a different way than Allah. Allah had it differently than Zeus. Like everyone, yet the core was the same. Their core value was the same. They all was about helping people and showing people that them too can be enlightened. Them too can be that magic, that mystic. It is just, how are you going to demonstrate that? And it doesn't have to be all perfectionist. Like a page, like an apprentice, like a messenger. Everything is new. That's why they say don't kill the messenger, because they're learning the message along with you. So if you got to be mischievous on saying that to yourself, like, look, I'm a messenger, so it's like, yes, you might have your PhD, you might have a bachelor's degree, you might be getting your associate's degree, you already graduated high school, you graduated elementary school. That's great. That is good. But we always going to be an apprentice. We always going to be a student in some other endeavor, even in the things that we love to do. So use that when at times when people feel like, oh, you should already be experienced, and you should already have this, or you should already be like this, and you should already be acting like that. Why are you acting like this? Now you're going to be like, no, this is how I do it. This is how my faith look like as a mustard seed. This is how my sexuality is sacred to me. Yes, even sex is sacred. Even sex doesn't mean the monk and nun like chastity. Because if I'm not mistaken, chastity was more of an introduction to understanding the root chakra, or understanding the chakras, or understanding now in 2018, they would call that sex manifestation, using your sexual energy to manifest. That is religious and spiritual. Yes, even though how I'm talking about it, you would not think it is. But do the I got the receipts. But do the homework and see if I'm saying is wrong or right. Because if that's the case, we wouldn't have Kama Sutra, we wouldn't have Tantric. And mind you, these cultures had exactly the same disciples and messengers that I just mentioned earlier. And they don't see nothing wrong with that side of who we are. So, news of inciting new endeavor. Really look at that. Masculine cancers. Use your originality and ingenuity. That was what was felt. And be passionate. Bring out that passion. Even if it sounds awkward, like I felt awkward just talking about sex when we just got the monk and nun card. But again, I did a reading on myself 2 days ago with my friend, aka Sis. I've known her for 10 plus years, so I call her really my sister. I got in the monk and nun, and she looked at me like, how you going to demonstrate that you were a monk and nun in your past life? Oh, well, when it comes to sex, guys, this is one thing about me as a Taurus. Well, me as an individual that happens to be a Taurus and Scorpio rising, and, the chart. Now I'm telling you as an individual, I'm a sensual, sexual person. I love sex. I see it as healing water. Do I give my body away to everybody? No. But the ones that I do give my body to, or do give my hands to, or do give my mouth to, or do give my hair to, or do give my feet to, or do give my body to, or do give who I am as a whole energy to another, is very sacred to me. This is why a lot of my relationships, they will always wonder, like, wait, if you're freaky and sensual and sexual around me, are you like that with everybody? And I'm like, I know I could go for hours. Like, I'm that type of person where I could massage your back and lick you and just want to touch you and just see you engulfed in pleasure and wetness before I even think about devouring you physically. You know what I mean? So they are thinking just from how I am like that I would just be doing this to everybody. Like, no. I see it so sacred that I do it to particular people that I'm in a relationship with. A monogamous relationship with. Me and this person is monogamous doesn't mean that our relationship is one. Because I had open relationships as well. I had monogamous relationships. I had open relationships. I had same-sex relationships. Nonetheless, I can say out of all of those things, yes, the question would have come up like, oh, the more experienced you are, the more you must be a harlot or a vixen or a prostitute. Like, if I'm not mistaken, prostitution is actually sacred. Prostitution is actually very spiritual. The way it is used now hurts my feelings. Like, for one, do they have health insurance? For real. Do they have dentists? Do they have dental care? You know, like, you know how you have your Medicaid, or either you have Medicare, Medicaid, health insurance. Everybody has health insurance, right? But depending on your profession, you might not have health insurance. Now, if you're giving your body away to someone else where it actually heals them, meaning once they get up, they actually go to their jobs, they go to their wives, their husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends, even back home to themselves, and they're better, they have more drive. Shoot, if I would have to do a survey to say, well, when a prostitute served you, did they make you feel like filth, or did they make you feel like paradise? Did they make you feel like trash, or did they make you feel like a triumph? Not in the act, but in your regular life before you connected to this sacred person. Even saying it in that way, saying prostitution is sacred, would make people look at me at times like, how are you saying? Well, aren't we all prostitutes? Don't we give ourselves away to someone? Don't we give our time, money, and effort to someone? Don't we exchange money for something else? That is prostitution. It's just that you're not on the corner doing it. You might be in your car driving to your location to do that. What I'm saying is, masculine and female cancers, your soulmate and you are becoming more scholarly. So depend on that. Be more dependable on what you know, how you know it, and why you know it. If you gotta do the research and bring out the receipts like I will be doing on Kiki's Doorway channel, showing that prostitution is sacred, showing that sexuality and sensuality is actually very spiritual. Using sexual energy is actually sacred. I will be putting that on Kiki's Doorway channel. So when I be having a discussion soon about this, because this is one of my passions, is to talk about this, about sex and the sexes, or sex and the sexes in communion. Sex meaning XXX, like how we physically use sex, and the sexes meaning man and woman. How do we communicate? Because the way we communicate and the way we connect to each other is really not. We say we're connecting, but we're doing a catastrophic thing. We're saying we are one, but we act like we're two ones. How are we going to merge that together? That's something I'm going to be putting on Zoom as a session, or something that we can talk about. And I will also do it on Kiki's Doorway channel. I kind of gave an introduction to it like maybe 2.5 weeks ago, but I'm going to be more creative in how I'm going to do the next reading in that regard, when it comes to sex, sensuality, and the sexes. So good news, Miss Cancers are going to be coming to you and your soulmate from you being very scholarly and doing your homework on what you considered, or what you consider a good judgment call. And you're being very successful on how you physically go out in this world to be an authority figure. So wanting to do something new and challenging is, you got the green light. Give me the green light. Give me just one night. I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now. Give me the green light. Got the green and the red light. But the red light for this one won't be for stop. It will be for bringing out that passion. When you do, a new area study will come right before you and your soulmate's eyes. This will help you on your next journey and how you're going to be you. Until we meet again, Mr. and Miss Cancers, I love you. I love you. I always leave a paragraph in the description box as a compass, a template, one tool that we can use to really think and simmer on. So whenever you get a chance, look in the description box below. I love you, Mr. and Miss Cancers. We will see you on the other side.